You may have saved your favorite Ed Sheeran songs on Spotify or his best albums on Apple Music, but have you listed down your favorite cameos from him yet? Because being his fans, you can't not know about the frequent appearances he's made on some shows and films. Wait, you don't have a list? No worries, we've made one for you, so stay tuned to check out the 8 best on-screen appearances the singer's made to date. Starting on 8 with Game of Thrones. You all remember that moment, don't you? Half of the world couldn't believe this was happening, and the other half just thought, why? Because see, as much as we love the shape of him, we have to be honest, his cameo in the show was a little too forced. As if a dad just had to bring his kid to filming just cause he was a fan of the actor whose film his father was a crew member of. So the actor meets the kid who gushes on how big a fan they are, and the whole set just waits before the moment's over to get to usual business. It was like an out-of-body experience for all fans, some of whom have even joked about how they're still reeling from the aftershocks of the appearance. Others remember fondly how they were up in arms about the whole thing on Reddit. Some have even said the show went downhill ever since he appeared, which may be a stretch, but all in good humor, right? But then there are some who love the bit, and others who didn't even know it was happening, and were pleasantly surprised when they thought, wow, this guy can really sing well, until they realized who he was. So, you know, mixed reactions. If it weren't for his angelic voice, we'd probably place this one at the very end of our list. Oh, wait. Anyway, we give this cameo a 100 out of 10 for the voice, but a 5 out of 10 for the plot. Next on number 7, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. If there's anything Star Wars has missed, it was the amazing voice of a known singer who's made a name for himself in a galaxy far, far away. But hey, this cameo filled that void too. Ed, being a massive sci-fi fan, had to make it to the sets even if it was under the Stormtrooper helmet, which has hidden a lot of other famous faces as well, including Daniel Craig, Tom Hardy, and even Princes William and Harry. Who could even believe it? For Ed though, it's just a cute little thing that happened, but because it didn't involve his vocals, we'll just give this one a 7 out of 10 for the cute fan factor. Moving on to number 6, Modern Love. What's better than a free folk Ed Sheeran? A homeless one. No, really, his appearance in this show was pretty surprising, but also a lot better and more well-placed than GOT. Oh, if you're wondering why we're comparing it with that show, just think of it as a benchmark for all bad Ed Sheeran appearances on TV. Anyway, in this one, the singer appears as a homeless man who's very obviously oblivious to the couple whose home he's in and their need for privacy. Sure, this one didn't have any big purpose either, but at least his comic timing's good in this one. So just for the sake of it, 4 out of 10 just cause we got to see our favorite Ginger on the show. Now for number 5, Bridget Jones's baby. He's the guy from Starbucks. Or at least that's what Bridget Jones thought, bless her soul. Like, who could look at his face and think, this is a guy working at your neighborhood coffee joint? Well, okay, sure, he does look a bit unassuming and doesn't have that air of arrogance around him, which is why we love him, but what we love about this particular piece was his natural interaction with the girls and that song. Guys, how can someone sing so well? Renee Zellweger in an interview mentioned how cool it was to meet him and how fun it was to listen to him sing. We bet it was because if that guy sounds so good on screen, how must he sound in real life? Angelic. That's how. This is why we'll give the man a good 8 out of 10 for this whole appearance. Well, at least he's on a redemption arc after the Game of Thrones disaster. On number 4, Home and Away. If you think Bridget Jones was crazy to have featured 2 women who don't know Ed Sheeran, wait till you watch his stint in this Australian show, Home and Away. The singer wasn't a series regular, but he does appear in one episode as himself who comes to visit Marilyn Chambers, who'd once been his nanny back in the UK. She's all set to host him for a well-to-do lunch at a local diner, thinking he may not have had something good to eat for days when he suddenly enters and drives the people in the cafe crazy. The fun part is Chambers apparently doesn't even know his little Teddy is a famous singer. We'll give this one a solid 9 out of 10 for the celebrity surprise factor, and because Ed's too modest in this one, upping his cute factor to 100%. Following that on number 3, Red Notice. Aha, if you ever thought you couldn't get over the trauma from Ed's appearance on Game of Thrones, this one can help. In this film, Ed appears as himself as a wedding singer who automatically woos the bride with his song, but then he's interrupted by Interpol, who's there to arrest the family. Well, the singer decides to avenge the bride's honor as she's being taken away and tries to fight some pretty skilled cops with his guitar. Not the smartest version of Ed, we guess. Anyway, that results in him being tackled, and just as he's being taken away, he goes, "Do you even know who I am? I was in Game of Thrones." Ha! If that were Reddit police, this would totally have the opposite reaction to what he was expecting. We give this scene a 9.5 out of 10, thanks to the song and his brilliant comic timing. The second to last one on this list is The Simpsons. Who hasn't appeared in The Simpsons? The show's like a goldmine with cameo after cameo of people they want to make fun of, or appreciate in Ed Sheeran's case, because his character was given due time, credit, and a song to match his love for Lisa. He plays the character Brennan Biederbeck, who's an aspiring jazz singer, and meets Lisa, who falls head over heels for him and his angelic voice. She does everything to make sure nothing goes wrong between them, but then, too bad, the school decides to transfer him to a different institute, taking him and his perfect vocals away from Lisa forever. For us, that's a 10 out of 10 cameo just because of the show and the song he sings in it. But wait up, that score doesn't mean we're done yet, because we've saved the best for last. Before that, some honorable mentions. First, there's The Bastard Executioner, where he's got a reoccurring role of a guy who wants to murder a child to get information. That's dark. Ed chose this role because of the same reason. He said no one would expect this from him. We didn't expect Game of Thrones either, but let's move on. Then he appears in Lil Dicky's song Freaky Friday as, well, himself, or actually a version of himself where his body's taken over by Lil Dicky. It's a weird song, but his cameo makes it a little more bearable. He also shows up to an open mic in NBC's Undateable, where he woos the audience by singing Thinking Out Loud, but is kicked out by the manager who doesn't know who he is. Also, there's Top Gear, where he shows up for his first ever behind the wheels experience on TV. No singing was involved in that show though, which sucks, so let's move on. Finally, his best so far, Yesterday. You know what? Ed Sheeran plays himself really well. Even in Yesterday, he plays an alternate reality version of himself who lives in a world where the Beatles don't exist. So it makes sense that he utters the craziest line in his career, where he suggests Hey Jude could be better off if called Hey Dude. What? Anyway, there's also this particularly cool scene in the movie where he's appreciating Jack, the film's main protagonist, and challenges him to a songwriting competition with himself. Jack's obviously a little intimidated, especially after Ed sings his piece, which is just so effortlessly beautiful. But then Jack takes up the piano and sings The Long and Winding Road by the Beatles. Ed, playing a more arrogant version of himself in the movie, realizes how good the guy is and admits he can't possibly compete with a song and talent like that. Good thing the whole premise of the film is how people have forgotten the Beatles, because that wouldn't have worked any other way. But well, the cameo is heartwarming. Ed is a bag full of talent on legs, and the song he sings is absolutely perfect. So for us, this cameo hits a sweet 100 out of 10. And that's a wrap for this video. Which of these cameos from the singer has been your favorite so far? Let us know in the comments below. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.